This is Farrokh Bulsara, better known as Freddie Mercury. Bulsara was born on September 5, 1946 in Stone Town, Sultanate of Zanzibar, to two loving parents, Bomi and Yer Bulsara. Bulsara is known for his work as the lead singer, frontman, and pianist of the legendary rock group Queen from the years of 1969 to 1991. Mercury would spend most of his childhood in India, where he learned to play piano at the age of 7, setting the stage for what would be one of the most magical and prominent rises to ever grace the world of music. This is Daily Acts. We are Daily Acts. The 60s and 70s are often known as the rise of the hippie movement, along with the rise of psychedelic drugs. It's also where some of the greatest music and groups were formed, with the likes of Led Zeppelin forming in 1968, Pink Floyd in 1965, the Rolling Stones in 1962, AC/DC in 1973, and many more. In 1953, a young boy at the age of 7 years old named Farrokh Bulsara would start learning to play piano in India while living with relatives. This would be the beginning of a musical career that would set the world on fire, because just 17 years later, in April of 1970, Mercury would team up with guitarist Brian May and drummer Roger Taylor to become lead singer of their band Smile. They were joined by bassist John Deacon in 1971. Despite the reservations of other members and Trident Studios, the band's initial management, Mercury, chose the name Queen for the new band. He later said, "It's very regal, obviously, and it sounds splendid. It's a strong name, very universal and immediate. I was certainly aware of the gay connotations, but that was just some of the facet of it." At about the same time, he legally changed his surname, Bulsara, to Mercury. It was inspired by the line, "Mother Mercury, look at what they've done to me," from his song, My Fairy King. Shortly before the release of Queen's self-titled first album, Mercury would design the Queen logo known as the Queen Crest. The logo combines the zodiac signs of the four band members. 2 lions for John Deacon and Roger Taylor, their signs being Leo, a crab for Brian May, a Cancer, and 2 fairies for Mercury, Virgo. The lions embrace a stylized letter Q, the crab rests atop the letter with flames rising directly above it, and the fairies are each sheltering below a lion. A crown is shown inside the Q, and the whole logo overshadowed by an enormous phoenix. Mercury would write some of the biggest Queen songs, including Killer Queen, the world-renowned Bohemian Rhapsody, Somebody to Love, and Crazy Little Thing Called Love. When talking about Crazy Little Thing Called Love, Roger Taylor claims Mercury wrote the song whilst in a bubble bath in Munich in under 10 minutes. Brian May also claims the song was a tribute to the late great Elvis Presley, which is why Freddie sang so similar to the tone of Elvis in that particular song. Now, revisiting Freddie's childhood, we notice that things weren't always easy for Freddie, and like many greats before and after him, Mercury would have to live through struggle in his native country of Zanzibar, because just only 6 years before Mercury would start the band Queen, he and his family would flee the country of Zanzibar during what is known as the Zanzibar Revolution. They would move to Middlesex, England. By this point, Mercury had already been studying music and arts for years, so the move would fit perfectly for a young man such as Mercury looking to break into the scene. Just 5 years after moving to England, Mercury would meet Mary Austin, who would become his girlfriend. Mercury and Austin would continue their relationship until 1976, when Mercury told Austin that he was bisexual and had been involved in a romantic affair with David Menz, a record executive for Elektra Records. Mercury would move out of the flat that they shared and would buy Mary a place of her own. Mercury always said that Austin was his common-law wife. He would even change in his will that the house would go to Austin if anything were to happen to him. During the early to mid-80s, it would be reported that Mercury was in a romantic relationship with female actress Barbara Valentine, even though Mercury would clarify in a later interview that they were just friends. By 1985, he had began another long-term relationship with Irish hairdresser Jim Hutton. In 1982, Mercury would start to feel ill. According to Jim Hutton, Mercury's partner at the time, Freddie was diagnosed with HIV/AIDS in late April 1987. Around that same time in 1987, Freddie would say in an interview that he had not been diagnosed and had actually tested negative. When it was confirmed that he did in fact test positive in 1987, some sources would try to attack Mercury and ask the question of how would the fight against HIV/AIDS change if he would have spoke out. But it was much bigger than that to Mercury. Freddie wanted to protect the ones closest to him. He didn't want their sympathy or for them to feel bad for him. After his work with his band Queen coming to a close in June of 1991, Freddie would retire to his Kensington home to live out his final days. It's reported that Mercury refused to take medication and only took painkillers throughout his time at home. On November 22, 1991, Mercury called Queen's manager Jim Beach to his Kensington home to prepare a public statement, which was released the following day. And it said, "Following the enormous conjecture in the press over the last 2 weeks, I wish to confirm that I have been tested HIV positive and have AIDS. I felt it correct to keep this information private to date to protect the privacy of those around me. However, the time has come now for my friends and fans around the world to know the truth, and I hope that everybody will join me, my doctors, and all of those worldwide in the fight against this terrible disease. My privacy has always been very special to me, and I am famous for my lack of interviews. Please understand this policy will continue." On the evening of November 24, 1991, about 24 hours after issuing the statement, Mercury died at the age of 45 at his home in Kensington. The cause of his death was bronchial pneumonia resulting from AIDS. Is this real life, or is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I don't need no sympathy. Freddie Mercury is not just one of the best rock and rollers of all time, but one of the greatest all-around vocalists of all time. Freddie was a stamp on a time and an era. A sound that we all know, a face we all remember. His songs will live forever in all of us. Freddie, we love you, we miss you, we can't wait to see you again. Yo, what's up guys? This is Trevor from Daily Acts. I hope that y'all liked the video. If you do, make sure to hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button and turn on that little bell right beside the subscribe button. That's just turning on the notifications, so anytime I post a video or if I happen to go live one day, then it'll automatically alert you on your phone. Let me know in the comments below anything that I may have missed in the video. I'm a new creator. This is only my 4th upload. I'm trying to get better as it goes. And so anything that I may have missed, anything that you would have liked to have seen, put it in the comments below. Let me know what's your favorite Queen song, what's your favorite Freddie Mercury song, even in his solo career. Again, I'm just a small creator, so I don't have any like ad deals or any sponsorships or anything like that. What I do have is my own music. If you guys want to go check that out, it's on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, YouTube, all that good stuff. The artist name is TTYL, like Talk to You Later, and the name of my latest EP is Dramatic Summer. It's actually my first EP under the moniker TTYL. I just released it in June, and yeah, I think it's pretty good music, so you guys might like it. But I'll put all that info on the screen and whatnot. That way you guys know what to search for. Again, I appreciate you guys so much. I hope y'all have a great day, a great weekend, a great week, all that stuff. I'll see y'all on the next one. Bow!